программу «Ваш мозг не хилит». Она скоро начнется. Приятного прослушивания.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt-Larsen. And Fargo police officers are snoozing in their cars while you are busy getting, murdered by an intruder. Unfortunately, you will be getting violated. You'll be on the other end of the phone hearing, "Sorry, ma'am, please give him another 15, maybe 30 minutes. He didn't get his full 8 hours last night." Folks, your local police officers, your forces that you honestly expect to be the defenders of the societal contract, they're not on the job. That's just one way to say it. They are not stopping criminals at Walmart, Best Buy. No wonder this country's gone to shit. We should start shooting thieves again, especially if the social contract guards are going to be catching Z's while you're catching hands from the homeless man. You just wanted to take your kids out to the park? Nope, you're going to be slain in a bush while Officer Mulberry over here gets his sleep like a baby. Let's play this clip, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a fun video. It's not remotely shocking when you think about the actual behavior you see from the Fargo PD. While your rape kit is being processed for like 2 years, while your case is being held up because some bozo can't figure out a laminating machine or whatever, you can sleep soundly, knowing that if a thief breaks into your house in the middle of the night, the police in your area, they will be there right away in 3 or so hours, give or take. You got to give them a break, guys. They're doing stuff that is going to threaten their leisure time. You know what I mean? And only sometimes are they going to have to deal with anything life-threatening. Let's see what these gentlemen have to say for themselves. And ladies, because there's some ladies working there.
A Fargo police officer caught on camera taking a snooze in a squad car is capturing attention on social media. The department confirming the video filmed on Monday, June 15th, is real. Captain Travis Mosier says the department's first concern was the officer's well-being, but he did make it clear the behavior is unacceptable.
When a police officer comes to work, they need to be awake. They need to be attentive to their duties. They need to be aware. There's an officer safety aspect of this as well.
See, at least we know our tax dollars, they're only being spent on the highest level of security. While the city continues to slip to the heathens, the barbarians, the panhandlers, these fucking schmucks at the Fargo PD will go, they will not go unrested. God forbid they have a moment where they feel a little tired on the shift. Folks, no matter how loud you scream, no matter how many children go missing, no matter how many guns are brought into schools, Fargo PD will always be there, catching some Z's while you're catching disease. And I'm just going to be real. You're catching a bullet to the brain. You're dead now. Give them $1,000 a week. I know your paychecks, you bastards. By the way, most of you are caught just under $2K a week, like 1.4 to 1.6 on average. Some people are sitting around the 1K a mark. Quit acting, like Blue Lives Matter is the biggest of your concerns. Right now, you'll have an image issue. You have an image issue. Straighten up. Nobody likes you. Nobody sees a Fargo PD car rolling up and thinks, "Oh, good, the adults are here." No, they think, "Oh, great, I can't wait to get hassled for jaywalking while some open-air drug market is still alive and well in Madison Unicorn Park or West Acres. Great, all I did was cross the road. They got people selling shit that's turning arms into scab-covered, shit with brown crystals coming out of it. But the Fargo PD, they're out there. They're the most objectively useless police force in the country, bar none. Worse than Chicago. Like, at least in Chicago, you kill somebody, it's 50-50 whether or not you'll be caught. Kill somebody in Fargo, there's a solid chance they'll never find you. Honestly, their clearance rate is embarrassing. Their officer performance is embarrassing. These people will steal your tax dollars to do what exactly? Ignore pedophiles, ignore murderers, and sleep on the job. Oh yeah, and be a Freemason. Like, lots of Freemasons in the Fargo PD and most police departments. They get really uncomfortable when you ask them about it. Ask them, next time that they pull you over on University Drive on 13th Avenue, just go, "Hey, do you go to the Shiloh or the Daylight Lodge?" And they'll just get all wide-eyed and awkward, like, yeah, you can't hide. We all know that you're all a bunch of pedophile defenders, child killers, child traffickers. Not all of you are moving crates, but, you certainly don't get in the crate's way. You go business as usual here, folks. Police, while they are a necessary part of societies that we build, too many goddamn of them are Freemasons. It's tragic, but it's whatever. Pedophile supporting pieces of shit. They should just go shoot another black kid, get some more paid time off for it. Nothing will be better, by the way, when these people dedicate their lives to this practice, only to find out that it leads to an afterlife of pain, misery, suffering, or complete blackness. That will be their penance to pay. You hear me, police officers of the world who belong to these organizations? Your day will come And I promise you, you will be defeated. You will never conquer the free spirits of man. You will never enslave our minds or guide our wills. You will be stomped on by God and his people like the snakes you are, and the ethereal planes of nature that we all live in will have our revenge against you. You will be punished like the wraiths, you know, the ring wraiths of society, the soul takers that you are. You are corrupted kings who each took a ring and dedicated yourselves. It's slowly draining you, made you these cloaked creatures who wander in packs, looking for more souls to steal and plunder. Your Freemasonic, anti-patriotic waves have led you down to a life of hollow self-service and villainous servitude to dark forces you could never understand, but you choose to play with. You are the insolent child, the Eve in the garden, and you will be punished brutally by the universe for trying to conquer it, rape it into submission the way you bastards always have and always will. The universe will see your tiresome ways against it, and it will crush you like the ants on the hill that you are. Your beehives, your cults, your unofficial, unorganized groups of Satan-worshipping pedophiles will be one day destroyed. I promise you, you will all one day be unmasked, the world will know your evils, and I intend to speak truth to your darkness every second of every day that I manage to have life in my body. You sons of bitches. You think that you can just sleep on the job and it's not going to lead to me exposing your Freemasonic origins and ties? Don't even try. And I ain't suicidal. I ain't going to be gone for a long time until they find a way to kill me. They'll find a way, like a plane that I'm riding on suddenly falls out of the sky, my car. They're going to take it over once I end up having to buy one of these newer models and drive it off a bridge. And if anything does or ever were to happen to me, my audience, friends, and family know it wouldn't be an accident. You disgusting, sleepy pieces of shit. You Freemasonic slugs, you permeate our once beautiful garden of truth and light. You pests, you're a pestilence, and I am the cleansing alcohol sent to burn away your lies, your filth, and your muck. Get ready for the cleaning, because we've got a fire hose of truth coming your way. This show will exist only to service my mission of speaking the truth for truth's sake, and having a little fun while I do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, interview your local officers, interrogate them. Don't harass them. Just don't let them scoot away from the question. Make them answer it straight. How many of you are Freemasons? Are you one? Which lodge do you attend? The whole point of these organizations is them being secret. And if we speak of them, if we bring them into the light, talk about them every day, they lose their power. They will lose their spirit of anonymity. So let's dismantle it together. Shall we, listening audience? Let's see this Fargo police officer piece of shit.
According to Fargo police, the officer involved has been identified and the incident itself addressed internally. Indiana's podcasting.
Yep, addressed internally, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, if you're gonna be sleeping, at least wait till you get back to the office. All right. Fargo PD, you know what I mean? They're not going to save you. They're not going to save you when your children are being kidnapped. They're not going to save you when you're being raped. It's over for you, essentially. If you have a crime happening to you in the city of Fargo, you would be better off praying to God for help than you would be for calling the police. It's over for you. It's already over. But thank God that while you are being, slain in West Acres Mall, while a man grabs the back of your hair, pulls you fucking into his arms, and slices your throat with some fucking piece of metal that he managed to pry off of a bus stop, you're going to be at peace when you feel the blood draining from your neck, because you're going to go, well, at least LL Bean is coming to West Acres.
LL Bean is coming to the West Acres Shopping Center. The mall has signed a lease with the outdoor retailer to occupy about 15,000 square feet in space.
What I like about this is it's re-whitifying. It's re-whitifying West Acres Mall. Listen, and I'm not saying that it needs to embrace white culture. I'm not saying that I'm not this Nazi out here saying that, I want swastika banners everywhere. No. I'm saying that without Forever 21, where are the white bitches in this town gonna go? Where are the white men supposed to... They're not gonna go they're not going to Von Mar. They're not going to JCPenney. JCPenney's on its last leg. So they need some sort of outdoor venue. They need a Patagonia. They need something along these lines. And LL Bean, ladies and gentlemen, LL Bean is coming here to save the city.
It was formerly home to Forever 21.
Forever 21! Losing that, it was core. So many white women were devastated.
It is anticipated LL Bean will open sometime in the first 3 months of 2027, according to mall officials, who added the store will be the first LL Bean location in North Dakota.
The first.
A mall spokesperson described LL Bean as an iconic outdoor retailer, known for its high-quality apparel, footwear, outerwear, outdoor gear, and lifestyle products.
Yeah, we know what LL Bean
And
is.
Other business news, be sure to visit
Inforum.com. Inforum, thank you so much. At least, we might not have a functioning police force, but the mall is going to be bitching in 2027 because you're going to have a place to buy, I don't know, canteens or some shit for your next hike out in, I don't know where you people go, west, fucking North Dakota. You're like, oh, look at these hilly badlands. They don't even make it out to fucking Montana. It's whatever. It doesn't even matter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that does matter. Let's not talk about the Fargo PD and whether or not you're going to be raped or slain. They're not going to come to save you. As a matter of fact, if you're dismembered, your killer, the only chance of them getting caught is if they come forward out of pride. So hopefully you're slain by some really prideful piece of shit, because otherwise Fargo PD isn't doing shit for you. I'm sorry to tell you. All right. We got new diplomatic details that are emerging around the agreement with Iran from Europe today, as the United States and Iran are preparing to officially sign the 14-point memorandum of understanding aimed at ending the war in the Middle East, mediated by Pakistan and Qatar. The framework agreement will be formally signed this Friday at the highly secured mountainside Bergenstock Resort. Bergenstock, not Birkenstock, Berg, with like a G, in Switzerland, while the preliminary deal successfully halted a 100-day-old conflict, the 100-day-old conflict, not they're like, oh, so there's just 100-day-old conflicts all over the world. Leaked documents from the region show that the true heavy lifting will happen during the high-stakes 60-day negotiating window that it will officially take place after the ink has dried.
President Trump kicking off his final day of the G7 summit with
Look at him
no
shaking
public
hands.
details about the deal he made with Iran.
It's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong. And most people seem to be very happy.
G7 world leaders who have spent days courting Trump throwing their support behind the agreement. In a joint statement overnight calling it a breakthrough, writing it provides an historic opportunity to prevent Iran from acquiring any nuclear weapon, adding we support and are ready to contribute to its implementation.
I think it's a game changer, not just for this situation, because it starts to take off certainly this issue.
Okay, let's talk about this, though. Let's talk about the immediate economic concessions that have been designed to jumpstart the peace process. According to reports from Wall Street Journal and foreign media, the Trump administration has already started dismantling its 2-month-old naval blockade on Iranian ports, granting Tehran immediate permission to resume the selling of oil and fuel on the global market. Furthermore, leaked copies of the draft indicate a massive financial incentive is on the table, with Washington reportedly weighing in the gradual release of a $24 billion in frozen Iranian assets to be released, with up to half potentially made available ahead of the upcoming talks, heavily contingent on verified steps towards peace. In exchange for this sweeping financial relief, the agreement places strict immediate obligations on Iran regarding international trade and security. Tehran is required to fully remove naval mines and other technical obstacles to ensure the vital Strait of Hormuz returns to its pre-war shipping volume within 30 days. However, the immense friction is already brewing over how the waterway will be managed. President Donald Trump, Tronald Dump, that's a better name. President Tronald Dump. I want to use that more often. I'm marking this episode here, Tronald Dump. I'm so happy that I don't even know how I come up with this. It's like my words meld together and they create something even more beautiful. President Tronald Dump has reportedly boldly proclaimed to global shipping companies that transits through the strait will be entirely toll-free. The current text of the memorandum remains notoriously vague around it, leaving the door open for Iran to potentially demand transit fees to fund its regional operations. So they are, like I said previously, so with these fees and these sorts of things where if in order to even navigate around our country, you're going to have to pay us a cent. They are set to make bank from this. Not only the money that they lost, but then some.
But it allows us, and this is what's happened in the meeting, to step back, look anew at Ukraine.
But back in Washington,
What?
Republicans on Capitol Hill
What does this have to do with Ukraine?
been left in the dark.
Fuck the Ukrainians. Who cares? I'm going to be honest with you. They are not our problem.
I think a lot of our members are hearing.
I know that. Who's the guy? Mark Cuban? He's like, I really think that we should do something about it. It's like, okay, you have $1 billion. Send something to them if you care about them so much.
Responding to that, but clearly, like anybody else, we want to see the devil's in the details.
Democrats say the Trump administration has something to hide.
There is a reason they are not publishing this deal, and it's because it makes plain that this is one of the biggest foreign policy blunders in many generations.
Vice President
Why
J.D.
not?
Vance has described the agreement as a very general document, about a page and a half long. The U.S. agreeing to lift the blockade of Iranian ports, Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and then 60 days of talks to negotiate the future of Iran's nuclear program. Still unclear what kind of financial reward Iran has been promised. The Wall Street Journal reports the agreement allows Iran to start selling oil immediately. Trump's former ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, saying if this is true, Iran wins.
Continue.
Sources tell ABC News that U.S. intelligence agencies raise serious doubts about whether Iran can be trusted in the final stage of these negotiations. Vice President J.D. Vance is set to travel to Switzerland for the final signing ceremony of this deal. But again, the Vice President, the President, Iran, they've already signed this electronically, and the text has not been revealed to the American people, George.
And Rachel, just before 4 a.m., the President really threw down the gauntlet to Senate Republicans on a series of interconnected intelligence issues.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, talk about a major headache that Republicans are waking up to back home. The president says that he will not approve FISA, a key national security tool that has already expired, until Republicans pass his sweeping voter ID law.
Save
The
America.
president says he's also delaying the nomination of Jay Clayton to serve as the director of national intelligence until his other judicial nominees get through. Clayton was scheduled to start his confirmation hearings today. Now,
Clayton looks like a villain in a Coen Brothers movie. This guy that he's elected to fill this position has just this haunting, like always frowning expression. I didn't know someone could always be frowning.
this means that Bill Pulte, a man with no intelligence experience, will be serving in that role for now. Republicans are no fan of Pulte. The president knows that, and now he's using it as leverage, George.
Okay, Rachel, thanks very much.
Well, you know, you got to give him one thing. He knows how to play politics. And, you know, in general, how is the peace negotiations? How are they going? You know, not great, especially when Netanyahu says he and Trump don't really see eye to eye. And he's warning that Israel, the threat to Israel is not over and that they are going to do something about it. They have to. All right, here's his words exactly from him. Okay, he's speaking the gypsy speak. All right. For decades, I've been fighting Iran's efforts to arm itself with nuclear weapons. I can define it as my life's mission. I've stood by... God damn it, you speak quick. I've stood by it to this day, and I will stand by it in the future. With an agreement, without an agreement, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Not today, not tomorrow. As long as I am Prime Minister of Israel, it will not happen. This agreement was made by the United States, by the President of the United States, and he believes he can truly integrate both the opening of the strait and the cancellation of any nuclear program. I said this to his decision. I repeat, this is his decision. He is leading it, and of course, I have expressed my opinion in various discussions. On the other hand, I said that we have our own interests, first and foremost regarding the nuclear threat. I'm committed to ensuring that we do not face such a threat. It's like hearing the devil. You know when you're watching Passion of the Christ and like the character who plays the spirit of Satan, kind of. It's like Lucifer incarnate because it's this feminine, masculine form, and it has like this bug crawling out of its nose. This is how it feels to just be in his presence, to speak his words. And secondly, regarding Lebanon, we have created a buffer zone, a security zone, and we will remain there as long as it is necessary. Iran wanted us to withdraw from there, but that did not happen. Do you know why it didn't happen? Among other reasons, because I stood very, very firm. I was very, very resolute on this matter, and I still believe our American friends respect this determination and stance, this persistence.
ואני כמובן הבעתי את דעתי בשיחות שונות. מנגד,
This guy sounds like Bald Bull from, and I know that he's not speaking Turkish, but like, have you ever played Punch-Out, or at least on the Wii system? He sounds very similar to that character. It's just the gruffness in his voice, but he's this tiny, tiny man with giant big Jew ears. Like, it's like a caricature. It's not even funny. He's got this big menorah, State of Israel Prime Minister's office. He looks like a caricature. We're staying there because we need protection. We need to protect the residents of the North.
איום הגרעין, אני מחויב שלא יהיה לנו. שלא יהיה איום כזה מולנו. שנית, לגבי לבנון.
In the United States, they say that President Trump does everything I ask, and in our country, they say the opposite, that I do everything he asks. So that's not true, and that's not true. These are the relations, of partners who know each other many times, and as I said, agree many times, and sometimes also disagree. I hate this, like, Jewy talk in circles, you know, like, oh, well, we're going to pick this argument apart until you don't even know what the argument's about. It's very rabbinical, Talmudic Jew. Well, technically the definition of a war, whatever. All right, this happens in the best families. What? You're a family now with President Trump, and I can say that I have set certain parameters for our activities, and we are doing that. This is how people talk about gay sex. We've established a safe word. The safe word is l'chaim. Well, okay, thank you very much, BB. I feel, like, icky after giving him that airtime. I feel like I need a shower. It's whatever. I'll have the most disgusting individuals on this program. I would have had Osama on here if he was still alive. You know what I mean? He was, like, 7 when I died. Wait a minute. When did we get Osama bin Laden? 2011. Yes, okay, so I was... Yeah, 2011, well, technically 2010 because it happened in May and I was born in July. So, I was exactly 7 years old when we got Osama bin Laden. So, I didn't have this show going down. I would have been on the ground in Abbottabad, Pakistan when we shot him there. I'm going to be honest with you, I would have interviewed anybody. I'll interview the ghost of Charlie Kirk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at the Austrian World Summit in Vienna, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris talked with CNN's Alex, E-L-E-X, that's a real name? What are we doing? Alex Michelson, about the possibility of running for president again and what she thinks the country wants. So, she is injecting herself into the jolt of electricity. The early 2028 presidential race is heating up. Some people are talking about John Ossoff. Some people are talking about, like, the dark horse candidates they think are going to be able to, jump into the race and make some names for themselves. And using the international stage as her drop, but in the background, she is clearly, this is the clearest hint that she's given us about another White House presidential run. Speaking at the 10th annual Austrian World Summit in Vienna, Harris sat down for a high-stakes fireside chat. They weren't next to a fireside. I don't know why they describe it as a fireside chat. They weren't near a fireside. They're on, like, this weird blue background, like, stage or whatever. They all have, like, little lawyer glasses of water. It's all, I hate when they do that, when the little faggy glasses of water are right next to them and they never take a sip throughout the entirety of the thing. And then if they do take a sip, they're, like, weird. All right, well, the Global Forum was originally designed to tackle climate change and pollution because this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's event. And I'm not saying N-word, whatever. I'm not saying nigger. I'm saying Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nice try, you can't get me. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody knows him. Everybody's familiar with him. No, Ali, I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. All right. Arnold Schwarzenegger's event that he normally hosts for the climate was hijacked, unfortunately. This woman, Kamala, whether or not you think that she has this terrorist build, I don't look at her and I think terrorist. I look at her and I think, like, school teacher. I don't think of her as, like, this kind of very, intimidating force, but she, like, went in there with, like, a bomb strapped to her chest and she said, we are talking about me and my presidential run. We are not talking shit about the globe or the environment. So the audience was chanting run again. The smiling Harris did not hold back. She told the crowd that she is actively thinking about launching another presidential campaign, reflecting on the last 4 years of service, just a heartbeat away from the Oval Office. Harris emphasized that she knows exactly what the job requires and is evaluating another run in the context of how to best serve the American people. She boldly told the summit that she believes the country is hungry for a return to institutional stability, a unified leadership, and forward-looking forward-looking economic vision that steps away from polarized, retaliatory politics of the current administration. As though you were any bit this uniting, we all have to come together figure throughout the entire 4 years you served as vice president. Knock this shit off. Let's hear a little bit of her own personal words, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, whether or not, I think Hillary Clinton should run again, and we would have a better chance with her. We would have a better chance with a woman who has killed children on a ping pong table than we would with Kamala Harris.
Wrap up, but I want to ask each of you a question about the future, because that's what both of you are so focused on.
I'm sure they are.
Your future. There's a lot of people. You've talked about that you're thinking about running for president, right?
Well, first we have to kill my husband, because my husband did not do very well with the press. They found out that he, beat up his ex-girlfriend. We had a lot of problems. So we're going to have to kill, unfortunately, we're going to have to kill Dougie. Dougie, my Dougie.
How is that thought process going? What's the process in that? And I know you're on a listening tour, and I'm curious what you're hearing from people as you've gone around the...
Well, I can't hear very much, because Doug Emhoff, he smacked me, and I can't hear very much out of my right ear.
What people are telling you that maybe you've learned that you didn't know before the process of doing so?
Let's hear it.
What people are telling me includes that they want to believe in systems, and they've lost trust in those systems.
Okay.
What I hear a lot is that people know that at the end of...
Okay, guys, I want to go through this as, now, I'm going to let her finish her thought, but I want you all to hear why she cannot run for president again. I want you all to hear that, she has the fumfering of Jeff Goldblum, the kind of, looking for a word, and it's just, she has that, and she has the Biden slowness, but she does not have his age to justify that slowness. So she needs to drop this sort of methodical, every word I say has to be perfectly parceled out, but actually, after I eventually parcel it out, it ends up looking like a nothing burger. It looks like something that, it looks like a Netflix series from Meghan Markle. It looks like nothing. It looks like just platitudes that white women and some black women are going to feel comfy about when they put it on in the background. It's not anything that's, meaningful. There's no meat and potatoes to her actual political talks. It's just people have lost faith and they don't feel comfortable going. I talk to veterans. I know they let me in their circles, and they don't feel comfortable going to the VFW to drink themselves to death.
Lost trust in those systems. What I hear...
Let's hear. I'm not going to edit this. Watch her put together this thought in real time and how slow she is. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
What I hear a lot is that people know that at the end of this administration, there will be a lot of debris.
Debris? Yeah.
I tell them often, I can't guarantee that it won't get worse before it gets better.
Oh my God.
But the one thing I do know is at the end of it, there will be a lot of debris. And it would be irresponsible to then address that in a way that we only talk about what should we do, what do we need to do to rebuild.
What?
We do that with any sense of nostalgia.
Nostalgia? What are you talking about?
That would be irresponsible. Because the reality is, even before, there were many things that were not working for a lot of people.
Yeah. Were they?
The status quo is not working for a lot of people. And what the people are telling us is that they want things to be better.
This woman's bullshitting me in a shirt that doesn't even have a collar. Wear a collared shirt if you're gonna bullshit me.
And in some places, what that sounds like is we want that to be broken.
Huh?
But they don't actually necessarily mean break it through destruction.
What?
But
how else do you break shit? Wait a minute. You're talking about people that are telling you they want to break the systems that we have right now. Well, we don't want break. Does break really mean destroy? Break, it can just refer to in irreconcilably doing damage to something. When you break like a child breaking their toy. They might, it's not the toy that they thought it was going to be, but it's just, it's in two pieces now.
They do mean it has to be better.
What? And does breaking imply that it would be better? This is like Daenerys Targaryen when she said, I'm not gonna redirect the wheel or whatever. I'm going to break the wheel. And then she just ended up torching the entirety of the city. This is, unfortunately, Kamala Harris is much like a lot of the other, well, I'm just gonna call it, women in politics that I see. They are Daenerys Targaryen types. Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Daenerys Targaryens, that the moment that we do actually hand them the keys to power, they are going to look at all of the ungrateful faces and that are not filled with enough reverence to how much they've done for them. This critical motherly spirit will turn against you, and it will flap the wings. It'll start to like, and then fire's gonna fill the streets, and everybody, their freedoms are gone. You have no sense of what the world used to look like before you. You're living in a brand new system that is constructed from a wine daydream they had when they were watching some fucking some Today show. They're all sitting there watching The View, getting day drunk, and they have just this. Well, what if just like we ran the world? What if just like James Brown? When he said it was a man's world, what if it was like not that? And then Whoopi Goldberg chirps up and she's like, actually, we gotta, as women, it's up to us to redefine what society looks like, what it feels like. And, Whoopi's my favorite. No tea, no shade, but the show has kind of fallen off ever since Meghan McCain left. That doesn't matter.
They do mean it has to be better. And,
unfortunately, we're dealing with a woman who's not, and by the way, this is not all women in politics. It's a solid majority of them, just like how most men in politics are, the solid majority of them are pedophiles, freaks, Satanists, and worshippers of their own godlike being that they presume themselves to be. This is a woman who leads by, like, what she thinks is going to pull the best. She loves calling herself Mamala if people want a motherly figure, and she loves calling herself this boss who's like, people call me boss. When I worked in law enforcement, it's just like they started calling me boss, and that was just like, it was like a thing. It was a cute little thing that me and my crew used to do and shit like that. She will flutter between identities. She will either go from this caring type who's like grabbing one girl's hands, and she's like, this one girl's crying to her. She's like, I just don't want to die. I know that I'm gonna die if Donald Trump wins, and she goes, no, baby, you're not gonna die. She is a shapeshifter. She is manipulative via her image. She will tell you whatever it is she thinks you want to hear. She is, that's the whole reason she's going on this tour, by the way. She is crowdsourcing all of her opinions that she needs to have for this next campaign. She is going around saying, what is the most lukewarm, populist message that I can get in order to sway the most voters? Unfortunately, you're a woman, so I think that immediately is going to place you in the unwinnable category. This is not sexism. This is just the United States of America, and we have politics that have worked a certain way for a long time. So the chances of you getting into office are, I'm just going to be honest, given your gender, very slim. This is not me. I didn't make the rules. Don't take it up with me.
People are right. One of the things I think about in the context of the future is Gen Z. I love Gen Z.
She always brings up this goddamn, who is this Chinese guy, Chen Z? I don't know who Chen Z is, but she's like, it's like her masseuse or something. She's always going, I just love Gen Z. Gen Z is so bright. Gen Z has all these visions. He's so caring. He knows about the environment. Gen Z is so smart.
They are, in the United States, I'm not sure about here in Austria, they are a larger population than baby boomers demographically. They are between the age of about 13 and 28.
Because boomers, they were busy throwing lawn darts into each other's hearts.
They've only known the climate crisis. They experienced a pandemic where they lost significant portions of their education.
Gen Z is this wonderful, bright generation on so many SSRIs. There's so many of these kids that are fat and so many that are depressed, think they're transgender, non-binary. All these kids, they have zero friends in real life. They have Discord buddies. Have you heard of this thing? It's called Discord. It's where all the kids, they're making connections online now instead of making friends. This is wonderful. Gen Z is so bright.
And socialization. And the thing I love about this generation...
What is that?
They are so beautifully impatient.
Yeah.
They're not waiting for us to figure it out. And if we think about, as we invest in the future of our world, and we are unstoppable. If we think about investing in that generation, knowing, for example, that someone who is 20 years old today, based on all actuarials, will live to be about 100.
Sure.
Policymakers among us, let's think about what are we doing right now that for the next 8 decades of their life will plant the seeds.
Oh my god. Whenever she pauses, you can tell that she's gonna go to like one of these old imagery things. She's like, these 3 pigs, they're gonna build 3 houses. One is gonna build it out of straw. It's not gonna be very strong. The next pig, he's gonna build one of his houses out of sticks, and that also ain't gonna be very strong. And then the third pig, we want to be the third pig. We want to be bright, Masonic visionaries. Can I tell you about this beautiful thing called Freemasonry? This beautiful thing called Freemasonry. Now, I'm not a member personally because they don't allow women with vagines. Now, I don't know, but that generally means all women. But there are some, the Bruce Jenner, they allowed him to keep his membership, especially even after the transition. But Doug goes to these meetings all the time. And we would love for Gen Z to learn more about the godlike being that exists within all of them. Have you heard of this beautiful thing called Luciferianism?
For the majority of the life they have yet to live. That gives me a great deal of optimism about what we are capable of doing.
So many souls for me to steal. I'm gonna sit like a witch on top of the White House. I'm gonna have a beautiful tower built like the Wicked Witch of the West. And in my grimoire of all the names of American citizens, I will pick which souls I wish to feast on that day.
If we think that way.
So all that being said, does that make you more likely to...
Oh my god. Just answer the question. Quit being such a man about it. Men never answer the question.
Well, no, you started by asking me what I was going to do next. And what I'm going to do next is get a soccer tort to take home.
Okay. Governor, wrap up with you.
I just want to add a little something, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, number one, she's right about the generation. They're seeing all my movies. So this is what I love about them.
I love you, Arnold. I love you. You should run for president. Well, I'm just kidding. You're from Austria, damn it. Well, lie. Just lie.
Twins and the Kindergarten Cop and Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 6. It makes no
Jingle all the way. Don't sleep on the classics.
Yeah. And so that's just really great. So I see it from both sides. How do we educate them so they go in the right direction environmentally? And how can I make them see my movies? Okay, so this is like always going both tracks.
Okay, whether or not she's gonna run, she's keeping it vague, at least for the time being. She doesn't want to step on the toes of Gavin Newsom. She doesn't want to, she knows that the field needs to clear a little bit. And honestly, it's smart of her to keep her head down. It's smart of her not to make too much of a name for herself right now. Because admittedly, the moment that she pops her head up, you're gonna have snakes like this. You're gonna have snakes like Hillary Clinton coming over to try to go, I think that the party has another future. You know what I mean? And because Hillary's smart. She knows that she needs to win again. She knows that the political party of the Democrats need another win. And so, at least that's the image that I get that she has in her head when she says things like, Biden made a terrible mistake. He cost the Democrats the election. Now, I think she knows that, honestly, Kamala was a little bit more the issue than she's letting on. Kamala's she's not an electable candidate. She's somebody that makes people think of groceries.
2 weeks ago, the Democratic National Committee released an autopsy
on
the 2024 election.
I love how old people pronounce that word, autopsy.
It satisfied nobody. Not one person did it satisfy except for maybe the Bidens, because it didn't mention Joe Biden's decision to run. When you look back on this episode, and it's obviously we don't have the distance of historians, but some time has elapsed.
Some time.
How do you analyze it? I know you had a long political alliance together, complicated relationship, and so on and so forth. But
yeah, we killed children together.
Look back on his decision to run. Did he make a terrible mistake?
He made a terrible mistake. He made a terrible mistake for himself, his legacy, and for the country. He had said that he would not run again. And, counterfactual narratives are always a bit tricky. But I believe if he had kept to that plan and said in, say, the late summer of 23 that he wasn't going to run, that he was going to pass, the torch to the next generation, we would have had a real contest. And very sadly, I believe whoever emerged from that contest, whether it was the vice president or a governor or a senator or anybody else, would have beaten Donald Trump. So I think it was a...
You know who that somebody else that she's referencing is? It's actually her. Ladies and gentlemen, she is propping herself up because she knows that now is her time.
Did Kamala Harris lose solely because she only had 100 days to run?
Oh.
I think that was definitely a factor.
Sure.
I think...
Definitely a factor.
She also found herself really in a difficult position trying to run as the sitting vice president but separate herself from the sitting president. That's really hard. When I ran, I'd been Secretary of State for President Obama, and there was part of the Democratic Party and certainly Republicans, independents, who, were, they were favorable toward a lot that President Obama had done, but not everything. And yet I was part of that administration trying to, separate myself, trying to, chart my own course.
Benghazi.
She was doing it in real time. I mean, there was no gap between her service, as there was with mine, and her campaign. So I think that...
All right, before she stumbles on any further, I'm just going to cut it short. If you want any more, she's in the description, whatever. I have to bring you the rapid-fire section of today's headlines. We could talk about Kamala Harris all day, we could talk about Hillary Clinton all day, and we're just not going to because I have to bring y'all some startling news. Former Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson has revealed that he has an aggressive form of cancer. This is devastating, personally, to me. I enjoy this man's content. His show, Top Gear, was rather funny. He is a meme legend. Many people recognize his face. And Clarkson's farm is a delightful little romp, through the English countryside, the British countryside. And unfortunately, he's going to take time away during the harvest because this is devastating. End of July, I think he gave the time for it. Godspeed, Jeremy.
End of July, basically.
End of July. Why are you going away?
Yeah. I've got cancer.
Damn.
Yep.
Not Jeremy. Of all people.
Somber news. Clarkson's farm. Ordinarily, we try to keep the show bucolic and charming and cheerful. But the final 2 episodes, which drop in the middle of the night tonight, they're none of those things, really. They're a difficult watch. They're really, really difficult.
As a secular person, my prayers do go out to Jeremy. You know what I mean? My good wishes, my good vibes. What do you even send as somebody who's not a person of faith? I hope for the best. This is disastrous to hear. This is devastating not only to his fan community, but to memes in general. The world will not be the same without this gentleman. And I'm not treating this like in memoriam. He's in there getting treatment for it right now. However, it's unfortunate to see, especially if you find him to be a delightful young man, like I do. Young man, he's maybe 60, 70 something. How old is Jeremy Clarkson? Clarkson age. Because 66? Okay, yeah, people cancers start to pop up right around that time. They say that 1 in 2 of us are going to get cancer at some point in our lives, unfortunately. Half of the population. But that includes also the old people cancers, where essentially you're more likely to die of old age than you are of the cancer killing you first. It includes all of the rapid forms of cancer, the slow forms of cancer. Well, the ones that are so slow moving they never have the chance to kill you. All of that is lumped into the all of us will experience cancer type of a thing. Speaking of cancer, god damn, this sucks. Antidepressants are being recalled right now due to the presence of a potentially cancer-causing impurity. Thousands of bottles of the antidepressant duloxetine have been recalled because they contain levels of potentially cancer-causing impurities above federal safety limits. That's according to a notice from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So if you take these, I guess stop.
Pulling the pills off the shelf. It's a prescription used to treat anxiety and depression, and now we're learning it could cause cancer. Thousands of bottles of the antidepressant duloxetine were voluntarily recalled because they may contain levels of potentially cancer-causing impurity above federal safety limits. ABC has reached out to the manufacturer of the drug, Toa Pharmaceutical, for comment. We are yet to hear back, but in the meantime, we're talking to our medical correspondent, Dr. Darian Sutton.
I don't need to hear Darian Sutton's potential views on it. Doesn't matter to me. All right, there's a new documentary going out, The Lockdown Dissidents, a new documentary from Wall Street Journal at the opinions section. Former CDC Director Robert Redfield says that scientists in the government wanted to suppress scientific theories, especially through the social media channels. This is like 6 years late. I'm sorry to say it. You're really like, you know, it would have been nice to have somebody speaking out a little bit more about this, especially out of Wall Street Journal or any mainstream media news sources. That way people like me wouldn't sound crazy to my family members when I talk about vaccine side effects or vaccine injuries.
Almost from the beginning of the Biden administration, they weaponized government, aiming to control the speech around the treatment for COVID, the effectiveness of lockdowns, the harms of lockdowns, school closures, masks, you name it. High government officials, including inside the White House itself.
You know what's bad enough is that the lockdowns gave us the class of 2020. These sons of bitches who never quit whining about how they lost their final year. I get it. It sucks. It's unfortunate. You might have not even had a graduation. You had a drive-through graduation. All right, sucks to be you, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, that's one of the main side effects of COVID is it gave us these whiners.
Would go to social media companies and threaten them, telling the social media companies who and what to censor.
Folks, I mean, I think if they're going to be after anybody, they're going to be after this show, interestingly enough. All right, TMZ, Luigi Mangione is banking on a little-known defense in his murder trial, extreme emotional disturbance. And if jurors are convinced, could he eventually become a free man? Let's hear the Jew at TMZ, Harvey's take on it.
A huge development in the Luigi Mangione murder trial. His lawyers have revealed that they are going to mount a novel, seldom used defense. It's called extreme emotional disturbance. And if they prevail with this defense, Luigi Mangione would be convicted not of murder, but of manslaughter, and he could become, and probably would become, a free man. So let me explain the way this works. In New York and several other states, this defense is available. What you have to show, and you know this is a legal standard, you have to show that there is a reasonable reaction that the defendant suffered that caused him to lose self-control and do what he did. In this case, kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So before I kind of get into all the machinations of this would effectively allow Mangione and his lawyers to put United Healthcare on trial. Because we know that Luigi Mangione was on a mission to talk about corporate greed, how it was destroying America. We reported extensively on this. He was on trips to various countries. He did a tour of Germany with a couple of other travelers where he talked about this. He spoke and corresponded with the author of a book on corporate greed. So this is something that really affected Luigi Mangione. What the defense is going to try and do is show that United Healthcare was so egregious in denying healthcare claims that it pushed Luigi over the edge to do what he did. Now,
so essentially what it is going to do is it is going to, if you have an issue with Verizon and how much they're charging you, you can just go out and kill somebody who works at Verizon. If your rates were spiked up enough to such unreasonable heights that you were just filled with anger, frustration at the molestation occurring via the large big companies getting the little guy, which admittedly there's quite a bit of. But if your statement around this and if your view of the situation is, well, it's the company's fault for charging so much, which, they shouldn't. I can agree with you on that. These companies shouldn't be charging exorbitant rates. But if Verizon spikes your rates even a little bit to the point where it's like you deem it to be, this is anti-human, the law will have a carve-out for you if you want to go out and kill a member of a board, a member of the decider units, somebody who doesn't even work at the hospital that you might be being affected at. They might not even be a correspondent for that hospital, but it is up to you. You took it into your own hands, and you are only going to be charged with manslaughter. We are taking the charge of first-degree premeditated homicide, and we are saying because company bad, people allowed to kill. Because company maybe does practices you don't agree with that result, unfortunately, inadvertently in the deaths of people, it is your responsibility to take it into your hands and to kill with you are literally, you bear the sword. You are the executioner. You go out and kill whoever you think is being villainous. And if the court thinks that you had reasonable enough crazy people thoughts to justify feeling scared for, the extreme emotional disturbance defense, this is going to open the doors. People don't even realize this is opening the doors, but it is.
The really interesting thing here is that in a murder trial, you have to show guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, so you always think, well, reasonable doubt is always the standard. With this defense, you don't have to show that he had extreme emotional disturbance beyond a reasonable doubt. All you have to show is it's more likely than not that he did, like 51-49. So that's a much lower standard the defense has to prove. Now, if they prove it, it doesn't mean he's innocent or not guilty. What it means is that the murder charge goes away and he
Why?
would be sentenced to manslaughter. And in New York, manslaughter carries a minimum sentence of 5 years, a maximum sentence of 25 years. Luigi is 28 years old, so he could become a free man if this defense works.
What does everybody else think of this connivey, grabbly, I'm just going to call it what it is, Jewy, lawyery behavior? This is impressive for an Italian man, Luigi Mangione. If you're able to pull this off, this will be the stunner of the century. I'm just going to say it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's close out the rapid-fire section of today's headlines. I want to play a series of people on the internet right now. These are people of the African-American descent, black people, who, are having, let's call it emotional reactions to the latest in the Carmelo Anthony case. If you're unaware and you haven't been tracking it, this has been the latest throw-out, distraction piece for the majority of the United States. They're saying people are getting too united over the Epstein files. We need white and black people to hate each other again. We want them to go back to the idea of the police are out here just protecting white people. They know nothing for the brown or black communities. They're trying to get back to like boys in the hood. We need to keep everything in our neighborhood black owned and black or you know what gentrification means. This is a series of Facebook, Instagram, wherever videos. Personal testimony from individuals. I'm not saying this represents the black community, but it represents a solid portion of unfortunate individuals in this community that really are getting caught up in the racial politics of that. This is just as bad as people screaming out that like white power. This is terrifying.
They kill one of y'all. You kill one of them. You can say it's hate speech, whatever, but I hate these motherfuckers. It's time to start killing these motherfuckers. If we don't kill those motherfuckers, they're going to keep killing us. And it's time for an eye for an eye. But let's kill these motherfuckers.
Truthfully speaking, we need more young niggas that's under the age of 17 and 16 go fire these folk up. Y'all will be out at 30.
We out here trying to do stuff right. They ain't doing nothing but killing us and hanging us and sending us to jail. Let's crash. Y'all want to crash? Y'all want to take this shit over?
I'm so proud of y'all for killing that white boy. See, they not used to this shit happening to them, y'all. My only problem is it should happen more.
Fuck that nigga Austin McCall, man. Fuck that nigga Austin, man. If you black nigga, you ain't smoking on Austin, fuck you too. Today we smoking on Austin, nigga.
Fuck Austin. Glad your head dead, nigga. I'm mad as a motherfucker. Fuck Carmelo. And fuck that nigga. Good thing he is dead.
Should have go dig his ass up and beat his ass again, then stab him again.
First, they told me that they found Carmelo Anthony guilty of killing that bitch ass white boy. And honestly, Chad, I can't really expect much in America.
And free Carmelo. Straight up. Straight up. I don't give a fuck about no white lies.
White lies.
I'm the only black man I know that ever served time for killing a white man, nigga. Stood over and watched him die. That's a badge of honor to me.
The CIA is working overtime. Ladies and gentlemen, the racial politics are back at it again. They want the whites and the blacks to hate each other. They want the blacks to hate the whites, despite the fact that the black communities are really the source of a lot of the black people's problems. And the white communities, they want them to hate black people, despite the fact that white people cause a lot of white people's own problems. Are there instances of cross-racial grievances? Absolutely. Are there instances of racist individuals, bigots, and pieces of shit? Sure. But you want to talk about institutionalism? You want to talk about how the country is out there to service one group of people over another? Start talking about people with money rather than broke asses like the rest of us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about our final story. Because as we all know, they need you to be arguing about anything, whether it's race, whether it's a police shooting, whether it's anything. Walmart in general has become unwalkable. It's like not a place you're able to relax anymore. As a white man, I love walking around Walmart. There's nothing more comforting to my Midwestern white heart than wandering around, maybe looking for a cooler, maybe something on Blu-ray, and then maybe like wandering through the candy aisle, something like that. You get one of these nice like 90% dark chocolate bars. Ooh, it's good. And then you have to, unfortunately, that is how I remember most Walmarts I'm going to call it maybe 2020. Most of the Walmarts, yeah, they were decaying. Their 24-hour rule was starting to go away, whatever. There was a switch that unfortunately was flipped with a lot of Walmarts after they stopped going 24 hours. They reduced their hours, and somehow the service got worse. Somehow it got worse. Protests are erupting in Mississippi, what the fuck, after a child has been shot, killed by an officer during a suspected Walmart theft. Now listen, am I saying that I think the child was stealing a flat screen TV? Maybe. Let's hear it from all points of view right now before we go in thinking the officer did anything here.
Everybody that was involved needs to be held accountable. I'm not giving up until I get justice.
Sunday afternoon, a 1-year-old boy killed after a shooting outside Walmart in Senatobia, where a law enforcement officer fired shots at the vehicle with the child inside. The family waited outside the hospital, anxious for information about another family member who was critically injured.
I don't know anything right now. My grandson gone. I just want justice.
The police department.
I don't know nothing about the cases, the details. I don't know nothing about no robbery. I just want justice.
Unless anything, they removed the baby's body without anybody seeing it.
The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says officers responded to a shoplifting call at the Walmart where they saw 2 adults and the child fleeing from the store into this vehicle. The driver then drove in the direction of the officers, nearly hitting one of them. That's when one officer fired shots at the car.
Okay, you have hoodlums that are using the child as cover, or essentially, this is a big thing that'll happen in black communities, white trashy communities, all that sort of stuff, is they will have babies. These people are baby machines. They literally, they have baby daddies everywhere. They just shoot these kids out. You'll see most women walking around with at least 2 or 3 of these fucking things, and they will pile them into the back of a car if they're shoplifting. They'll pile them into the back of the car if they're going to go speeding, in order to make sure that if you, the cop, does anything to that car, they can claim you were out there trying to hurt the kid just because the kid was black or something like that, not because the parents were up to any fuck shit.
Shot, open fire in a public
setting
over allegedly some Pampers.
I'm more angry.
Yep. That's the only reason. It wasn't because a car was coming at him. It wasn't because of none of that. It was because he was racist.
The situation that took place really was unnecessary. But what I'm hearing from what happened, it was unnecessary.
Look at this real Einstein over here. This police officer, this lady who looks 40 pounds overweight. Look at how proper and fit she looks for the job.
Now the victim's family is demanding answers from law enforcement as to how this happened.
All we know is that a car was shot up and a 1-year-old baby was killed.
Yeah, that's all you know. So wait a minute, you know nothing else. You are a self-admitted ignorant piece of shit, and yet you have already made the determination that the police officers were in the wrong. All right, whatever, cool.
Nobody tells us anything, like, we not anybody.
Someone need to be held accountable for it. It's just not right.
It's not right.
They are assessing and gathering evidence on this incident and will share their findings once the investigation is complete.
Whatever the incident may have come to, it still didn't need for you to shoot 2 adults and a baby that was not even a threat to you. Just
not even a threat to you. Just driving at you with the car after stealing Pampers.
Served. If it has anything to do with me, it would be served.
Wow. Look at her. This gang motherfucker. If it was white, baby, what? Look at him go. This is crazy. Race war. Man. Tear gas outside of a Walmart. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I hope that you gotta go to Walmart at a certain point, because if you don't believe me about how every Walmart in the country is decrepit at this point, just do it. Just go take a look around it. If you live in a small town, enjoy it while it's decent. Enjoy it while you still don't have very many people robbing it every day. I unfortunately, my hometown, there's burglaries at the Walmart all the time. Over $5,000. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. We cannot fight the oncoming tidal wave of change that unfortunately our elected leaders elected in. Folks, I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed today's stories. I had a wonderful time gathering them for you. I hope you had an even more wonderful time listening to them. I will be back at it again Thursday through Friday. We'll give you the weekend off, and then we will be back at it again next week. In the meantime, if you want any more of this, subscribe, like if you liked it, ring the bell for notifications. In the meantime, I've been Ollie Vogt Larson with your brain on air. Thank you so very much for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode, and bye-bye.